Well, it's the witching hour again. Happy Halloween, everyone. Hope you're keeping safe and that the bogeyman and the witches haven't got at you. Some pretty strange things have been going on here. The original owners of this house have been making their presences felt in various ways. This house belonged at first to the Glenister family, and they were here during the Victorian times right through till the early 1920s, when alas the place was converted into flats. And I like to think that they're on my floor most of all because it is the most original floor now. The others have been mucked about with to such a degree that they're unrecognisable to somebody from that period, really. Still got the electrolier up there, for example. I put that in. The original ran on gas. The rather solid gas pipe is what's keeping that electrolier up there actually. Now, the Glenisters were pretty big cheeses down here in Hastings. As far as I understand it, they had to do with the founding of the first fire brigade down here, and the police service, and the council, and had to do with getting the tramways department going and all this sort of thing. So they were quite well to do, shall I say. And they had a maid called Millicent, and I've seen this Millicent a few times. I've never seen Mr. Glenister, but you can tell when he's here because you can smell his tobacco pipe. Mrs. Glenister manifests herself usually by the smell of roses, although you will see her in the garden, I find. And she looks every bit the high Victorian lady, complete with dress, with bustle, and so on and so forth. They must have been very nice people, I should think. And we also see, in increasing amounts actually, Millicent's little cat, which was a little black and white cat. And our black Siamese, Gabby, doesn't know what to make of this at all. His eyes go like saucers, and he's quite often to be found standing at that doorway looking into the hall. And wow, 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 and there's nothing there. There is nothing to see. But there's definitely a cold feeling from time to time. Let me put it that way. So they're still here, all right. I first became aware of them many, many moons ago now, when they were converting the flat below me, actually. The lady that lived there before had a tumble dryer, but she never put a pipe on there to vent the steam out, which you had to in those days. It wasn't a condensing type like you get now. And it ruined all the plaster, so they had to take it off. And beneath the fireplace there, in the room below, was the main cooking range. It was the kitchen for the house. And with the plaster all gone, you could clearly see the outline of the huge brick arch where this range had been installed. Now, I'd had people up, friends up at Christmas, and the builders, of course, had gone away. I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning. The fire was still in, but I was desperately cold, and I had 2 cats at the time, as well as a pet fox, and they were both standing at the doorway, the pussycats, as was the fox staring at something. Charlie the fox was staring at something, and they were making ungodly noises. So, of course, with the landlady having given me the key, I thought, oh God, I'd better go and have a look. So I grabbed the cavalry sabre and went down below, and of course there wasn't a soul in sight. I would imagine it was probably Millicent and possibly Cook, who is also here, by the way, off and on, surveying their former domicile. Yes, thank heavens that our ghosts are friendly. That's all I'm going to say. They are friendly too. We had a funny thing happen earlier on. Susanna, my missus, she bought a glass candelabra thing some while ago with 5 candles on it. Tonight that thing broke for no reason at all. We weren't near it. It just went tink, crash. Yeah, so make of that what you will. Yes. I don't know whether to have a go at repairing it or not. Perhaps the Lannisters think it's a bit too gaudy. I don't know. Don't know about that one. But I've been seeing strange things off and on for most of my life. Yes, I know, David Cameron, yeah. The EU, yeah, don't get me started on that. No, but years ago I got a job mowing the lawn at a caravan park down in Cornwall. And I put the ride-on mower away one night. Now this caravan park, it used to be an old air base during World War II, and you could clearly see that the roadways were far too big to accommodate just caravans and cars and even trucks bringing static caravans and mobile homes in, that sort of thing. They'd obviously be runways. And the old shower blocks and so on had been retained and in some cases tarted up a bit, in other cases remaining rather primitive as they would have been during the forces days. Now, something made me look up towards the sunset, and it was a beautiful evening one summer, and I saw distinctly 3 airmen in silhouette. And I blinked, thinking, hang on a minute, what's that? I shouldn't be seeing that. And they were no more. They were gone. Yeah. Another person who worked in the shop there, a lady used to do all the stock and so on, she reported seeing a female officer just walk straight through the wall. And nobody really believed her, saying that she might be too fond of Mother's Ruin, until they came to take away the Coke machine once. I don't mean cocaine. The Coca-Cola refrigerator vending machine. And they pulled it out to repair it, and you could see that there was a doorway there. It had been blocked off. Yeah. Now, when I had an old Wolseley 1100 years ago, well, it was actually a 1300, it was a twin carb thing, quite a little go-faster pocket rocket car. I was coming back from Eastbourne, which is the next major town over from us at Hastings, or if you just count Bexhill, that is. And I decided to go via the back road, because I'd heard that there'd been an accident. It was on the radio, on the main A259 that goes through Bexhill and eventually back to here in Hastings. So I went via the back road through the tiny village of Wartling and Boreham Street, and then you take a left towards Battle. Yes, that Battle, 1066 and all that, Battle of Hastings. Yes, you know the one, William the Conqueror. Now, when you take the left, you start going up a hill, and then there's a fast section at the top. At the time, there were high hawthorn hedges both sides of the road. There's then a little bend that goes to the right. On the left is a little road that takes you down to the village of Ashburnham. As I'm approaching this bend and junction, with the headlights on full beam, I saw a lady in white standing in the carriageway. So naturally, I dipped the headlights, pushing the button on the floor. That dates it, doesn't it? And dates me too. And I kept my eye out because I thought, well, there must be something wrong here. She must be, well, probably a drunk or something. And you don't want to hit anybody naturally. So eased off the throttle, dipped the headlights, looked straight ahead. Nothing in my line of sight except that bend and her. And she disappeared. As I got within about 50 feet of her, she simply vanished. Just disappeared. The Wolseley got incredibly cold then. So cold was the atmosphere I had to pull the choke out. If you're an old fart like me, you'll know what the choke was. It used to enrich the petrol or gasoline mixture when you were running on a coal engine at first. Yeah, very strange indeed, and I didn't have a very good night after that, I can assure you. Another time I didn't have a very good night was many years ago when I was on the railway. At the time, we had the old rolling stock with swing doors, and they made quite a bang when you shut them. You couldn't get away with simply slipping off one, so to speak. Now, one of the turns we had involved going round to Eastbourne, picking up a train, bringing it back to Orr, which is one stop away from here, and then going back round to Brighton. Now, I've been doing this job all week, and it was a Friday, freezing cold. Same conductor all week, old Bill Glossop, smashing bloke. He was a lay preacher, as it goes. So that was that way we went. When we got up to Orr, of course, before you shunted up and over, you had to make sure the train was empty of passengers. There was nobody on there who shouldn't be on there. In other words, the staff, yes, but the public, no. So we walked through the train, because the standard procedure was that I would go right through the train to the rear cab. Bill would go to the front cab where I'd been and wait for the signal to change. When the signal changed, he pressed the loudophone button buzzer thing 3 times, indicating to me that it was safe to set back. In other words, reverse out of the platform and up and over the points. Well, we checked there were no passengers on the train. We even checked the loos. And because we were a considerate crew, we shut all the internal doors to keep the heat in and the windows that people had left open when they got off. Because you had to open the window to open the door handle from outside on this particular type of stock. So that was that. Beep, beep, beep. Into reverse, up and over. Once I got up, there's another signal, so come to a halt, do the blinds, the route indicator, so the signal man and the passengers will know where I'm going. And, well, that's that. You just sit there waiting for the signal to change. The diesel went by that came through from Ashford and Kent down to Hastings. That was all they used to do, just back and forth on that line. And we just sat there waiting. Well, while I'm waiting, it felt as if the front car I was in was bouncing, as if somebody was walking through the car. So I opened the door into the side corridor section and looked into there, and there's nobody in sight. So I called out, "Bill, is that you?" Deafening silence. And I put the handbrake on, as we were actually required to do. Not everybody did it, but you were required to do it. Me being a bit conscientious, I did. So I went further back into the coach, into the second class saloon, and checked the loos, nobody in there. And then I could see into the saloon of the motor coach, which is where Bill Glossop's office was, his guard's van. And I saw Bill coming towards me. He said, "Did you call?" And I said, "Yeah, have you been up here at all?" And he said, "You look as if you've seen a ghost." I said, "Well, I think I felt one. It felt as if somebody was walking through the train." And he went as white as a sheet, because what we both noticed was that all the doors that we carefully closed to conserve the heat inside the set were open. Very strange. The signal came off and off we went. We had an uneventful trip round to Brighton. But speaking to one of the Brighton crews there, revealed that the set we'd had was actually made up from coaches involved in an accident. It was called the Copyhold crash. Round about the early 80s, I think it was. And, yeah, the ghost in the machine, so to speak. Yeah. Never said a word about it to anybody else because, well, they'd think you were crackers, wouldn't they? You know, especially in those days. Anyway, happy Halloween, and, well, we'll all wake up safe and sound tomorrow. Hopefully.